Hey guys, it's Timmy here from Alviso. This is my very first clip on the GoPro Max. A little brief edit you saw there. That's the back of the camera. Look at my face, and now I'm back at Donald. Might have been really unnoticeable, but yeah, I'm testing out this camera for the first time, seeing how it fares. Of course, it's going to be like a huge brick on top of my head, so it's pretty heavy and pretty unaerodynamic, but it makes for good clips and good sequences. So we're rolling into our first lap. The first lap at Alviso is usually a practice lap or a warm-up lap. This is just to get familiar with the course and watch out for any hazards, as well as just warm up the legs and have some side conversations together. Here I'm talking to Ben, saying how old and slow my PC is. I can barely even edit this 4K, and as we're speaking during this edit, I'm actually borrowing someone else's PC to render this video. So yeah, it's the GoPro Max. The camera is great, but I don't think the software is up to par yet, and especially with my old 6-year-old custom-built PC, it's not good enough. And full disclaimer, some of the GPS data might be a little bit off on the screen by a couple seconds. So since this is my first time editing footage from Garmin Virb and GoPro Max, I do have to apologize in advance if the data seems a little bit off. So warm-up's over and we are off to the races. I am going to keep it fast with Nate here off the front. I'm just going to roll into this tailwind section and just keep pushing the watts, try to string out the field a little bit and get some action going. Start to slow down a little bit. Brian goes for an attack in that SJBC kit, Mike's bikes follow suit, and attacks start flying off once the pace slows down. And right here I notice Chris launching an attack, so I quickly hook onto his wheel, because I know that he's going to go once more after we make this sharp turn. So coming into this technical corner, Chris launches another attack. I follow suit and just try my best to hang on to his wheel. Now we're heading into the headwind section, so it's always a good idea to stay behind someone's draft, just to conserve a little bit of energy. But as you can see, the pace is slowing down a little bit, not pushing that many watts, and we're just only averaging 23 miles an hour. So I'm just looking around, see where these moves are going next, who I can stay behind and shelter in place. So the speed dips here and slows a little bit, so I'm just checking my shoulder, make sure no attacks are coming up, and if there are any, I'll be ready to follow it. So Chris does something really pro here. He attacks into the corner and puts a huge effort into the tailwind section. So now I'm playing catch up, trying to gradually build my watts up and power to try to get back into his wheel, but at the same time I don't want to be sprinting and burning a match right there. But it is a hard effort. We are going pretty fast. And as I hook onto his wheel, I don't stop there, but I just keep going, ride into his wheel and around him, ultimately catching Jerome as well, who was off the front for a little bit, and I figured, what the heck, just go with it. Keep the speed high, keep rolling. Finish my turn here into... Once I reach this corner, I'm gonna let the others have a pull and see what happens then. Of course, I'll be turning around, checking every so often. And as I do, I notice that Brian, my teammate from SJBC, he starts rolling off. So that gives me a chance to brake. Mike's bikes has to follow suit. 2 of them at this point. And I figured at this point, the whole field is gonna be latching back on pretty soon. So I just slowly but gradually put myself back into midfield and just coast along this crosswind section of the course. Give myself a little break in between. So yeah, at this point in the course it gets a little bit too wide, and that's always not a good opportunity to move up the field. So I'm just going to wait until there's like a little lull in speed and just slightly pedal my way through the field, hopefully make up the field positions. And you should see me doing that there when the guys in front of me stop pedaling. I make up 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 positions. But I don't want to cut straight into their wheel already. I'm gonna just ease off. Over here, Jerome does a little butt cheek tap to his little buddy there. So we head into this turn. Go ahead and give Tim Davis and the Hammerhead kit his line. No problem. I get to get a free ride off of him on this crosswind section of the draft. And you can see that it's a straight line up ahead of the road, so you can, that's a clear indication that the speed is picked up and the course is going by really fast. So based on all the corners that we took earlier, I made a huge miscalculation on this part. I ate too much brakes coming into this corner, and I let a slightly concerning gap open up, but no need to panic. I slightly just increased the power gradually and slowly hooked back onto the wheel, as you can see here. And now we're just pedaling just very casually. You can tell by the rider in front that we're not really going too hard. But I'm always going to keep tabs on the guys in front and what they're doing, if they're coasting or not, as well as anyone trying to attack from behind. So I take this inside line so no one comes from under me. I'll let one rider through again. Now that we're in the tailwind section, no problem. Got some speed to carry through, but I can't really make a pass on the right because there's guys coming up. So I just sit on their wheel, play it safe. Don't want to chop anyone's line off right there. And now we just reset, see what happens next. So we're once again in my favorite section of the course, the tailwind section, but I feel like the speed isn't fast enough and the power's not high, so again I just use this opportunity to move up on the side without any detriment to myself. Take 2 positions from under me as we move into the next corner. Slowly but gradually, don't need to put out too much power here. I let a little gap open to let this rider in, knowing that my position needs to account for the riders who will be doing most of the pulling coming into the final lap. So no problem, I let him take a weird line into that corner, but of course the speed starts slowing down a little bit and people are soft pedaling up front, so what that means is that we should be looking back, checking to see if any attacks fly. And almost like clockwork, Mike's Bikes goes, followed by a few other riders who follow suit. The speed then picks up again pretty rapidly coming to this corner, and we see a single file line formation forming again, indicating that the speed is fast, but coming into the next corner it starts fanning out again. So it's like this constant fast slow rhythm. So it gets kind of awkward here. We're on the farthest left side of the road because the crosswind's coming from right to left, and yet the whole peloton is going 3 abreast. But no worries, I'll gladly let guys go in front of me, just so I can conserve a little bit more energy and let them close down any gaps if they are really keen on trying to get a position within the sprint. So we're heading into our last lap, and I can see Jerome moving up, and so is Tim Davis. I let them go ahead of me. It is quite a long lap. I do want some guys ahead of me, and if it does slow down, then so be it. But don't want to be too far up the front, but too not far off the back either. So I'll just let them roll ahead in front of me because they have the extra speed. But all of a sudden, it starts really slowing down here at the end of the straightaway. And as you can see, I'm checking my right to make sure no one cuts from inside of me. So if they do have to go around me, they'll have to go take the longer line on the outside left. And you might have heard that everyone's yelling their final lap count, which is 1. So at Alviso at 12:30, we always yell 3 to go. and then we just count down the laps together as a peloton to make sure everyone knows what lap they're doing. And of course, attacks fly off the front, and we're trying to group them back and get into prime position. So a little bit surgy on the power there, all in the name of getting a decent position coming into the final lap. So coming into this corner, I like to call it the dogfight corner of the last lap because everyone bunches up and they're trying to find a wheel to follow. And of course the peloton takes this corner 4 wide. But obviously there's no need to fear if you're protecting your front wheel and keeping your elbows sharp, so you can counter any sudden movement. And as you can see, the guy in the red shirt on the right tries to move up, but unfortunately he gets boxed in and has to eat a bunch of brakes, costing him to lose some precious power there. So I'm pretty sheltered and in a prime position right now. So we're just going to keep the speed high. And as I make this corner, my main goal is to get my handlebars in front of the guy behind me, who's to my right, and hopefully latch onto Mike's bike's wheels here. But unfortunately I get elbow tapped and kind of jolted. I lose a little bit of my position there as the guy moves up, and he does sort of this erratic behavior, changing his lines left and right. But as long as we stay upright in Alviso and we keep it safe, I'm perfectly content with that, and I'm sure that he understands as well. So it's all fun and games, really. No hard feelings against this rider at all. Heading into the last corner, I'm trying to find the right line. Again, I take it a little bit wide and go fast, make up some positions here, but unfortunately it's not fast enough for my liking. So what I do, I check to my left to make sure if anyone's coming up, and sure enough, Hammer Nutrition does. I go ahead and let him have the line. He's gonna start eating the wind, no problem. Here's where the sprint starts. I sprint to his wheel. Jerome starts actually pretty early, so I have a lot of room to make up, and unfortunately I don't catch him, but being aero enough, I can go for a long one. So that's what I do, like a Tomahawk cruise missile, just going straight to the line, low power, but super aero, and on that day I secured second. Congrats to Jerome for first place. He played it and timed it super well, and let himself out ultimately for the final sprint. Very strong guy, who also happens to be a Nationals Masters champion.